What is happening, guys? This is K-WAK and welcome to Beat Breakdowns. The beat that I'm gonna break down for you guys today is called Little Legends Intro. It's the first track off the album Little Legends Volume 1, which came out in 2021. Stay tuned to find out exactly how I made this beat. First up, we had the strings. Now I really wanted these strings to sound massive and very orchestral, so I went for a plugin which had that very sound. And these are the strings that I came up with. Along with that string melody, there was also another set of strings that were happening at the same time, and they were playing a bit of a counter melody on top of that, and those sounded like this. That was all from the strings. Moving on to the brass, we had plenty of brass in this track. I'm going to show you guys the first bit of brass. We had some trombones playing a very subtle thing in the background. You guys probably didn't even notice this. I'm going to show you guys what that sounded like. Next up, we had some more brass. I had some more lower brass playing, some more bass notes to accompany the upper brass as well. So that sounded like this. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we had some high brass as well, which is filling that kind of higher end sound in the mix. And I added some trumpets. I had a little bit of a string kind of in the background as well to layer it, but I'll show you how that trumpet sounded like. Alrighty guys, we're going to move into the woodwind section. So I had a few flutes playing as well, in and amongst all the brass, all the strings and everything else that was happening. I had a kind of top and a lower layer flute that kind of played simultaneously, and I'm going to show you guys how that sounds. Now, along with those two flutes that were playing simultaneously, I also had a harp sound, which was playing a bit of a counter melody, and that one sounded a little like this. Now you think the whole song will be done now, right? Wrong. There was still some more that I wanted to add. I really wanted to fill this mix and make it sound so epic, so I added some tubular bell sounds, and they just played a little bit more on the top end, and those sounded a little bit like this. Now I also added a few choir sounds in and amongst everything else, which was just very subtle in the background again, which sounded a little bit like this. Now I've obviously covered a lot of the mids and a lot of the high regions in this mix, but I really want to focus on that bottom sub kind of region. And I added a few things to kind of fill that space. The first of which was a bass arpeggiated kind of sound. And I'm going to show you guys what that sounded like. Now, that was obviously a lot of instrumentation. You guys probably didn't realize how much was going into that beat. But I'm going to show you guys a little bit more of the drums and the percussion side of this beat. There was a fair bit kind of happening with that as well. So I might start with just the drums, and I'll break that down for you guys real quick. So take a listen. Now I was contemplating also with filling that bottom end whether or not I should go with the stereotypical 808 kind of sub to just really hit hard in that bottom region, but I decided to go with a bass sound kind of to accompany the kick at the same time instead of an 808. So you guys might not have picked that up, but there was a bass sound, not exactly an 808, hitting under that, but I'll show you guys what that sounded like. Now that's pretty much it from the drums, as in like the samples of the drums that I used. I did have a whole bunch of timpanis and like kind of cymbal crashes that kind of happened, little like crash rolls and timpani rolls. And there's heaps of those different variations throughout the whole track, but I'll show you a couple of those and what they sounded like. Now we're getting very, very close to the end of this track. There was a couple of other things I added just to kind of fill the more percussive side of things, which is again very faint. You probably wouldn't have heard this, but there was a couple of loops that were running in the background. There was one which was like kind of a hi-hat loop, and another one which was more of like a shaker, kind of Latin house kind of loop in the background. So I'll play this for you guys now. Now the last and arguably one of the most important aspects of the beat is the beat tag. If you guys haven't heard, I've got a beat tag for all my beats that I produce, and it goes like, kind of like this, like, you know, this is the kid. It's kind of pitched up. So that's the tag that I put on every one of my beats that I've produced. So if you guys want to hear what that sounds like, I'll play it for you guys now. You know this is the kid. So that's pretty much how the Little Legends intro came to be. As you guys can see, there's a lot of MIDI that I use. I don't mind loops, but I definitely love adding MIDI and incorporating my own keys, strings, and all that stuff. Definitely a big thing I love doing with my production. You guys will see that as a theme kind of throughout all my beats. If you guys want to support Little Legends Volume 1, the album, it's now available on all digital platforms, Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. I'll leave the link for that in my description. Please show some support if you want to buy that or just stream it. Definitely appreciate that. The instrumental and acapellas for all the tracks are available there as well. And if you guys want to hear more of this stuff, please let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys want to hear, if you guys want to hear more beat breakdowns or just anything else music related that I'm kind of involved with. I think for a lot of you guys, you don't know exactly what I do behind the scenes, so I hope this gives you guys a bit of an understanding of the workflow that kind of happens behind closed doors. But yeah, I'm going to show you guys the final product, the end result, and until next time, it's K-WAK. We out.
You know this is the kid.